Hello friends, welcome. Friends, I am sure that many of you who are watching this video must be following the Spectrum auctions. Now, as you are all aware that at the end of the day, once the Spectrum auction is over for the day, there is a daily report which is published. Yesterday, this daily report got published, and this is the format of the report which I am presenting in before you. So, what this report has? This report has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. So you will see that there is one column is service area, then we have band, then we have clock round, price, block for round number 5, then we have the aggregate demand, then we have the excess demand, then the provisional winning price for that particular round for which the report has been released, which is round number 5. And then we have the price increment for round number 6 in crores if applicable. Right? So these are the 6 columns. Now, why I'm doing this video? The reason I'm doing this video is because this information which is provided in such a way that it becomes sometimes confusing to extract the information that we need, that how much Spectra has been sold, what is the outflow, whether there is a mechanism to do it in a very simple and a very quick way, and what is the logic, because many people miss the logic, and yesterday I also missed the logic in spite of the fact that I have done this repeatedly thousands of times. I don't know what happened yesterday. I committed some mistakes, and I'm being very honest with you about this. So what I did was, I thought I'll put a structure around it, and I do a video to not only explain to myself, again, this whole concept, but also to let other people learn as to how they can do this very, very quickly without having to get confused about it. So let's begin this video without wasting any time. So what I will do is, again, I'm going to use some coding, and you don't have to do it yourself. You can do it without coding, let me tell you this. So there is no point in basically getting overwhelmed by these codes. So what you have to do is that you have to simply convert this file into Excel, and you will get a file something like this here. This is a file. This kind of file you will get. I'm just opening the file, and I'm going to show you how the file is going to look before you. So this is the end of day report, and this is how the file is going to. Now either you can process this manually or you can do it through code. So what I'm doing is, I'm basically processing this file through a code, and I'm going to show you that the same columns that I showed you here will animate out of the code, and you don't have to do it. I'm just doing it, but just to make sure that I am able to do it fast. So I just run this code, and then when I run this data frame, you'll see that all the 6 columns are here, and what I've done is that complicated names that you see here, I have just simply simplified it. You see all these names, I have simplified it. So these names have been, where is the file, data frame? So this is the data frame that is in front of you here, right? This is the data frame. Now, this data frame only has got 6 columns, but I need some additional information to extract the interest, the point of interest of data which people are asking. See how much Spectra has been sold, what is the outflow. So for outflow, I need the information about price. There is a price as well as the price because I do have the clock around price, but I do not have the reserve price, so I have to attach certain columns here. So what I'm doing is, I'm using another file, which is a file which I keep as a reference, which I call it auction 2004 data file. I'm going to open this file and show it to you how this file looks. This is how the file looks. Let me just take this out of this picture, and you'll see that this is the auction data file looks, and I'm going to put my face also out of the picture. So it has got also columns: auctioneer, band, block size, circle, megahertz, what are the spectrum has been, how much spectrum has been offered per sale, number of blocks, reserve price per block, EMD point, EMD per megahertz point. So we don't need all this information. So what I need here, I simply need, this column about reserve price per block or reserve price per megahertz. So what I have done is, I have processed this, I have copied this information. Let me just show you. In a data frame called DF24. I'm reading this file here. You can see this file, auction 2024 data. I'm reading this file, and then I'm dropping one of the column, and then I'm renaming the circle named as service area in order to make it palatable, because I have to do merging. And you don't have to do all these things. I'm just simply telling you that I need some columns. I'm extracting these columns. I'm dropping some of the columns. And then I am storing this in a file called day1 CSV, which you see here. This is the day1 CSV. So I'm going to show you that this day1 CSV is being stored in this folder of mine, which is today, I'm recording the video right now, 13:57. So this is the day1 CSV. So when I open this file, you will see that I just close this auction data file also. Let me just close this file because too many files are open. Let me close this and let me take you through this file, which is the day1 CSV. So this is the file. So you have all the 6 columns right here up to here. So if you see here, 6 columns. This is 8, this is 5, this is 6 columns. Let me do one more thing, format, and then I'll do wrap text so that you will be able to see clearly, and then you can compare with this. So let me just show you service area, band, clock round price, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and price increment. So those columns are right here in this file, day1 CSV, price increment, you see. Then what I have added blocks for sale. What is blocks for sale? Blocks for sale is nothing but aggregate demand minus excess demand. This is the blocks number. That's the simple formula. You don't have to get confused. Simply do what? Take aggregate demand minus and subtract with excess demand. You will get blocks for sales. You see 0 minus 8, 8, and you do it for all the elements of these 2 columns. You will get blocks for sale. Megahertz for sale is what? Simply divide by box price sales divided by multiplied by blocks for sale multiplied by block size will give you megas per sale, and reserve price and the reserve price per block is the information that I am only attaching. Now what I am going to do, I am going to take this whole block of information, I'll copy it and I'll use a reference sheet, right, for working. And this reference sheet is called paste the day data here, right, the day data here. So I'm going to paste that information here. And I'm basically doing it to make it a little bit more structured, right? Because then I don't have to think. Because most of the time what happens is you think and we commit mistakes. Don't have to think, just do mechanical. Paste it. Once you have pasted it, what you have to do? You go to the day working file here. And in the day working file, if you see that till column number L, right, I have the columns of uniform size, and I have created a separator. So what you have to do is that you simply have to copy this information, which is simple information. We don't have to process it, do nothing. You just simply copy it, and copy karke you have to just paste it till L, right, and do value posting, paste spatial value. Once you've done that, now we have the working columns, which starts from column number N, O, P, Q. And Q is not important, just leave it. So actually we have only 3 working columns. And with these 3 working columns, everything is going to be available. The first working column is asking a simple question. The clock round price is greater than reserve price or not? Yes or no? So what I have done, I have put a value of 1 and 0 here. So if you look at the formula, it says that clock round price is greater than the reserve price or not. Simple. If it is greater, put 1 here, or if it is not, put 0 here. And why I need this information? The reason I need is that if the clock round price is greater than the reserve price, means that full spectrum has been sold. That's the reason I need this information. If the clock round price is equal to the reserve price, then in that case, the aggregate demand is the value of at which the spectrum has been sold. Whatever is the aggregate demand, the number of blocks, that's the amount of spectrum has been sold. That is the simple logic. There is nothing more than that. Okay, very simple. That's why I'm putting 1 and 0 in this column to identify those rows where full spectrum has been sold or where the spectrum has been sold till the aggregate demand. That's all. Then what I do is I then create another column for sold spectrum, because then I have 1 and 0, which I have color coded here. You can see here the color coded, right? You will find that this number is 12, right? And then what I have to do is I have to basically use a formula, right, which is going to be what? which is going to be simple multiplication depending upon the logic, right? So if you look at this, if N2 is equal to 0, N2 is 0, then what I do, I multiply by aggregate demand into blocks for sale is the total number of, because aggregate demand is the total blocks and the aggregate demand multiplied by block size. That's what I'm doing, right? That's a simple calculation. Aggregate demand multiplied block size is the first, if it is 0. Now, if it is not 0, then I'm multiplying block for sale multiplied by block size. Because what I told you, the logic is very simple. If the clock round price is greater than the reserve price, then full spectrum has been sold, which is block for sale. And if it is not, then aggregate demand has been sold. So you simply do this, put this formula here, and then you just simply do and double click, and everything will get filled up. And then once you basically go and check, you will see 141 megahertz, which is exactly the total amount of spectrum has been sold, right? Now comes the outflow calculation. Now the outflow calculation is what? It is very, very simple. You don't have to get confused with that. You just simply take the PWV price, which is provided here in this column, right? Provisional winning price. That is the column with which you have to multiply. So once you multiply this total spectrum sold with the PWV price, you will get the total outflow. This is a simple calculation. Why I am basically dividing this by block size? Because I have got megahertz. I have basically calculated the spectrum in megahertz. So I simply have to basically do the reverse calculation. So now once you have done that, you just simply do double click, and then you will see the number here, 1259.94 exactly. And now if you want to see which spectrum band has where the spectrum has been sold, how much, and if you do bifurcation based on bands and service areas, you simply do a filtering. So let's say if I do a filtering with 800 megahertz band, then the outflow in 800 is 0. Now if I do a filtering with 900 megahertz band, then you don't have, because there could be some demand which might have come up, which you don't know. So, right? But that will become automatic now. So you see that the 900 megahertz, the total outflow is 6985 crores by just doing a simple calculation, a simple mechanical formula. You don't have to basically apply your mind. Then for 1800 megahertz, right, you just simply do apply filter, and you will see that it comes out with 3579 crores. And then we have got 2100 megahertz, again apply filter, you see 545 crores. And then we have got the 2500 megahertz, apply filter, it is 150 crores. As simple as that. So friends, this is the reason why I did this video, to explain to you that you don't have to apply your mind, do a mechanical calculation. Once you do mechanical calculation, then there is nothing will go wrong. Anybody can do this calculation. Just to repeat, just to summarize, convert this file, this day one report, into Excel. Extract these columns, and in these columns please attach some of the other columns in the working file, which is the blocks for sale, which you can calculate by subtracting aggregate demand with excess demand. Very simple. You don't have to basically get this information from the auction data file. It is already available in the daily report. Aggregate demand minus excess demand is blocks for sale. Simple calculation. Megahertz for sale, because you know the block size, you'll get megahertz for sale. And then you know the reserve price and the reserve price per block. That information you have to add in this table in order to calculate this. Now, just to be a caution, you have to give me a little bit of caution here, which I figured out myself while I was working, that make sure that the reserve price per megahertz and the block size per megahertz is 2 decimal places. If it is not in 2 decimal places, then this value which you are doing, this calculation that you are doing, which is clock round price greater than reserve price, you will find that in some places, where there will be a slight discrepancy, you will get 1, and that will screw up the calculation. So do it for 2 decimal places, because the clock round price is also given in that format. Then it will make the system more accurate and there will be no errors. But if you are not going to follow 2 decimal place, and if you are rounding up to 0 decimal places, then this is not going to work. So just be aware of that, because that will be a pitfall. So I hope, friends, that you have understood that into how simple this is to work. How to get this information of the total quantum of spectrum that is sold and what is going to be the outflow, and anybody can do it. It is very simple to do, and it will be, as soon as the data comes, you just have to basically paste this information. This is like I have created this daily working file. What I'll do, the next round data will come, I'll just do the Python processing, extract that file and just paste it here just for reference, and from here I'll copy it and I'll paste this information here, from here to A to L. Once I've done that, I'll simply put my cursor here and I know that 141 megahertz or 151, whatever the number comes here, it will come because it will sum up, and then the outflow will automatically come, and then I will be able to do circle wise and the band wise outflow calculations also. And also you can compare it with the offer spectrum with reference to reserve price, because I have added another column here that you can also do. So friends, I hope that you found this video useful, and let me know if you need any further information. I'll be very happy to help you with this analysis. And sorry for the yesterday's mistakes. There were certain mistakes in my calculation yesterday, which I've corrected in my note, subsequent note. And thank you very much for your time, and I will come back to you with the next video next time. Thank you very much.